resist, but this relationship I'm gonna desist. But how can I face you when all I wanna do is just taste you? I know you think I play but soon you're gonna see the light of day. Just relax, don't move an inch, I'll be gone in a pinch. May I feel take away myself, may I feel take away myself, may I feel hide like a thief in the night, may I forget out of sight, may I feel take away myself, take away myself, I have to utilize I breathe, show the eye a clean pair of heels. I say, been there, done that, don't need it again, yeah. I'm not a masochist who won't play your game, yeah. To all you move, you off me way to the core. Sayonara, the hot girl gone through the door. Take away ourselves. Ah, Say no good body, girl, let me take me ourselves. Take me ourselves. No good body, girl, let me take me ourselves.
Greetings, kings and queens. Welcome to another Real Stuff podcast. This is Franco, and I'll be linking up with Flavius in a few minutes. Today we have a special guest, Miss Deborah Walrond. She's a teacher. She will be joining us this morning to discuss some topics about education, teaching, how students are coping. Stick with us and you'll hear more. So if you got to get your favorite tea this morning, or your favorite coffee, whatever you drink this time of the morning, run along and go get it while I give you some tsunami. Give me the beat, and then we'll link up with Flavius.
Stamp out dirty minds and dirty mouths, suffering from lyrical drought. Deodorize, sucking out this song and watch this song. Hey, so give me the beat. Come for clean up the corner. Skank on your feet, ready for purge up the yard. Lord God, beat. Come for clean up the corner. Skank on your feet, ready for purge up the yard. Culture saver and Lord, we set the highest standard. Yeah. You're getting a treat on it, so sweet, you know, I feel young, so who want it? Different crew, I go to, I go meet. Specializing wise up, rise up. Open all your eyes, not gon' keep them boogie young out in the street. So mother, father, daughter, son, no better pack up and come. Play culture lyrics, we are fling down. Leg your foot them on the floor, we won't refuse to give you more. Long time we don't hear this, I'm sure. Comfy and chain, no mind with double form kind. Culture, I want gruesome, fine, fine. This time, so give it a beat. Come clean up the corner. Scamp on your feet, ready for purge of the yard. Lord, God of the God, beat. Come clean up the corner. Scamp on your feet, ready for purge of the yard. Culture, saver and Lord, we set the highest standard. You know, hear them sit down, that's all of business, but they gonna take the dogs. Cats and rats and hog. Mickey Mouse is dirty stuff, come out them a chop enough. But seriously, those who empire must fall. This rock on which your DJ sing and rap was not a thing by sniffing coke and smoking crack. If your brain a lapse, try go dig up some facts. All the veteran and for father put this music on the map. So give it a beat, come and clean up the town. Stamp on your feet, ready for bird up the yard. Lord God, beat, come and clean up the corner. Stamp on your feet, ready for birds out the yard. Culture saver and Lord, we set the highest standard. Yeah, we ready for take it on, ready for take it high. And no matter how them try, this music not gonna die. Steady we rock the world, the beat we have a pearl. Inspiration, give inspiration with no date for expiration. This music lyrical vibration, got the healing of the nation. They got the stepping wheel of the spirit, they all laid the foundation. So now the mighty cry out expansion for the program. Give it a beat, if it clean up the corner. Stamp on your feet, if it purge up the yard. Lord, how did it God beat, if it clean up the corner. Stamp on your feet, if it purge up the yard. Coach us if we're Lord. We set the highest standard, yo. So give it a beat, to clean up the corner. Chin up, stamp on your feet, ready for purge up the yard. Lord, how did it God beat? How did it God beat? How did it God?
Give me the beat. The man himself, Tsunami MIC, all the way up there in Boston. Tsunami going to be joining us in February. We're going to have a chit chat with Tsunami, find out what's going on with him musically. So, in the meantime, I just want to get you familiarized with some music, especially some music that we received yesterday. Dub poetry, you know, and things like that. Because, you know, on Thursday is our poetry corner along with Cook and Curry. And we want you all to, you know, be familiar with these artists. So when you hear the songs or the poetry, you know, in musical form, you will understand them. But right now, Tasha T would say social media hype, and then we're going to bring in Flavius.
Mix up a one, blend up a one. Tasha T never see this from Shibon. Social media, them love me more hot than everything. And everything you fi post. I get hype and a boost, Lord. And everything glitter, you go put it on Twitter. You fi smart and clever. And everything you fi share. I want like clown of the year. Don't bring your life here over likes and share. Don't show your business out there. Cause this I wanna read epidemic. Everybody get hooked on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook. Girl send a man a picture in a bathroom of it. Next thing it a line I get rant and rave. Some people don't know if they post. Mama read over foreign and never get divorced. I Jamaica post it online and the wife sister see no way black up in a jail over stupidity. You shouldn't post. I get hype and a post, man. Even if your life bitter, do not put it on Twitter. You be smart and clever, and everything you fi share. Don't become the next clown of the year. Don't bring your life here over likes and share. Don't show your business out there. Now everybody a target, everything I expose. Wanted one get catch you in my tweet and I post media junkie no east. Laptop and phone so the thief check your page and know when you owe man. Pull a big job and get West Country. Not a source, no suspect him take the Kyle of money. But he buy him girlfriend of a suit and Gucci and she post it online and say some things not for post. I get hype and a post, Lord. And everything glitter, you go put it on Twitter. You be smart and clever, and everything you fi share. Now one like say you don't care. Cause even if you're vexed with your man, I put it on Instagram, work it out. Cause I know yes you can, yes you can. Man tell your wife him gonna foreign on a business trip. And every day I'm calling tell her how him love and miss. Until her friends and her some mix with some Instagram pics. With a husband and a girl that hold hands and kiss. My gosh, you grow your kids just like a parent should. Try to shield them from the bad and teach them all that's good. Can you imagine someone sending you a viral clip with your daughter and your son and do some spiral it? You shouldn't post. I get hype and a post, Lord. And everything glitter, you go post it on Twitter. You feel smart and clever, and everything you fi share. I want like clown of the year. Don't bring your life here over likes and share. Don't show your business
This tune is so true. I know everything you for post. Some people them post everything on social media. Social media hype, Tasha T.
Well, this one is a bombshell.
I wish that you were the man in my life. I would like to take you to my home to be with me forever. I really love you, baby. Really love you, baby. Want you forever. Really love you, baby. Really want you, baby. I wish that you were the man in my life. I would like to take you to my home to be with me forever. I really love you, baby. Really love you, baby. Want you forever. Really love you, baby. Really want you, baby. Love I will give you is so powerful, so special. Under your skin it will flow through your veins. My love's insane. This love I give, I just can't stop. I just can't stop. It's in your face, even when you turn your back. And just like a magnifying glass, the heat that I transmit will melt your heart. Oh, I wish that you were the man in my life. I would like to take you to my home to be with me forever. Really love you, baby. Really love you, want you forever and ever. Really want you, baby. Really want you, baby. Whoa, whoa. Ooh, forever and ever. Yeah, yeah. I know you're wondering why my love is so strong. It's 'cause I see something in you pushing me on. The day you try to chase my love away is when you know my love was meant to stay. 'Cause this love I give, I just can't stop. It's in your face, oh yeah. When you turn your back, I wish that you were the man in my life. I would like to take you home with me forever. Oh, really want you, baby. Really love you, baby. Want you forever. Ever. Really want you, baby. Really want you, baby. Love I will give you is so powerful, special. Under your skin it will flow.
Want You Forever, the music of Miss Pam Hall. We have Flavius down this morning. Morning, Flavius. Flavius.
Morning, listeners. Morning, Franco. Morning.
Morning again, sir.
Are you hearing me?
Hear you loud and clear
Yeah,
now.
man.
Hear you loud and clear now.
Okay. Well, we're having good sunshine this morning. We have had about 5 or 6 days of rain, but sun is out first thing this morning. I don't know how long it will be there, but it's out first thing this morning.
Yeah, that's
So
good.
That is nice. Yeah, we have to have the wet and the dry, you know. intermingling. One today, one tomorrow, or whatever. Sometimes both the same day.
Mm-hmm.
But things are looking good. Things are looking good.
That's
okay. This morning, as we continue with our nook and cranny, our special spots in the Caribbean. This morning, we're going to speak about Half Moon Key in Belize. Half Moon Key is located at the southwest corner of Lighthouse Reef, and just this week was selected as a top dive site by Jacksonville Business Journal, a popular business website in the United States. Christina Fazaluru, the writer who put together the article entitled 10 Best Dive Sites in North America, described the key as follows. Half Moon Key in Belize offers divers the chance to go on a wall drive, in which the vertical facades of the Earth's landmass are explored. The depth at Half Moon Key and really at any wall dive are tremendous, giving you the very correct feeling that you are staring into an abyss. The waters at Half Moon Key are particularly clear despite the depth, so you will be able to see all manner of wildlife, including loggerhead turtles, rays, barracudas, and eels. All those dangerous sea animals. Weather permitting, our dive package can include a trip to Lighthouse to dive the Blue Hole, Half Moon Wall, and Long Key. Of course, we agree with Fazaro description on Half Moon Key, and we also have 8 reasons why we believe this beautiful gem is an amazing key in the country. Here are the 8 reasons, and I'll go through them very quickly. Number 1, the fact that the water is in Half Moon Key is ridiculously crystal clear. 2, the fact that the area is diversely populated with abundant marine life, like groupers, snappers, hogfish, stingray, and sand eel, and all of these beautiful and colorful creatures are protected under Belize law. 3, the fact that this spectacular coral growth makes it the ultimate destination for snorkeling and diving in Belize. 4, the fact that Half Moon Key is a historical national park and protected area. 5, the fact that the key supports the only viable breeding for the red-foot booby colony in the Western Caribbean. The fact that the island, that is number 6, leaf-toed gecko, also known as Belize Atoll gecko, is endemic to Belize, meaning it is found nowhere else in the world. And 7, the fact that its beaches are clear and gorgeous. Number 8, the fact that it is crescent-shaped and is divided into 2 ecosystems. On the western side, it has dense vegetation with rich, fertile soil, and on the eastern section is sustained coconut palm and other vegetation. That's it. That's the Half Moon Key in Belize, and I think in Belize, and it's definitely, and I think it's a part of the Barrier Reef too. The World UNESCO World Heritage Site, the Barrier Reef, I think it's part of that also. And of course, this is a not to be missed experience. So there we have it again. Franco.
So in case you didn't know, now you know. And did you know is brought to you courtesy of Slowly Jamaica, uniquely Caribbean. Get ready for our guest, Miss Deborah Walrond. She'll be joining us in a few minutes. Stick and stay, don't go nowhere.
Hi, this is Pam Hall, and I'm inviting you to hang out with Flavius and Franco on the Real Stuff podcast. They're such great company. This is your very own sports, music, and lifestyle podcast with Flavius and Franco. Welcome. Walking on sand and holding your hand. Feel like a tourist in my own homeland. In my own homeland. Enjoying the bright, the warm sunlight. Oh my God, what a beautiful sight. In my own homeland. This place is so nice, wanna do everything twice. Yes, I feel as if I'm in a paradise. No matter the season, you've got every reason. This place is another little heaven. East or west, I couldn't care less. Ooh, this place, it is definitely blessed. My own homeland. North or south, feel free to wander about. You can jump, dance, or sing and shout. In my own homeland. Give yourself a treat, a few days or a week, and you will see just what I mean. Just take my advice, so everyone is nice. You feel like royalty, my friend.
Morning, Deborah, morning.
Hi, good morning.
How you doing this morning?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm great. Flavius is here with me too as well.
Morning, Deborah.
Hi, good morning.
So,
Good to have you. Good to
Flavius,
have you. Welcome.
take the honors and introduce the young lady.
Thank you.
Yes, Deborah. Yes. This morning our guest is Deborah out of Barbados. And Deborah is a teacher and also is into baking. This morning, Deborah going to speak to us about this whole education system today. And she can give us first-hand information on her experiences thus far in the Caribbean. What is happening in the Caribbean with schools and all that. And, her thoughts on the whole situation. Well, welcome, Deborah. And the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good morning again to everyone. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Family, colleagues, and friends who have taken the time out to come online as well to have a listen. Um,
Deborah?
hello.
She's there. She's there. She's
Hi.
there. She's there. Mm. Go ahead, Deborah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so basically, I just wanted to share a bit about the experience, as you guys would have said, how it's been going into this environment as a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And I could start with why I really became a teacher. I'm sure when I started 11 years ago in 2000, the end of 2009,
Mm-hmm.
I did not foresee, teaching online, working from home as a teacher. That was definitely not what I had in mind when I started teaching.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would say, though, that I always had a desire to teach.
Mm-hmm.
This would have been stemming from my primary school experience, coming up as a child. And I think that all children have that innate curiosity and that desire to learn. And I've always been eager to learn. I still am eager to learn and always learning something new. And I would say that a teacher or my teachers would have been the persons to satisfy that hunger, to satisfy that desire. And I can only thank all of my teachers coming up for who I am today.
Mm-hmm.
And to be a part of that now, it is very, very, very satisfying. It is not what I expected. It is even more satisfying than what I would have expected coming into the profession.
True.
That is good. That is good.
Yeah, it
So
definitely was
that
something.
means you're
I'm not
having
hearing
fun
you well.
teaching.
She's not hearing you well, Flavius.
Yeah, that means you're having fun teaching.
Oh, yes, I definitely do. And I have the infants, the younger ones, mostly. And it is very enjoyable. My class is probably the noisiest in the school because we're always having fun. And I think that children should have fun while learning. They should enjoy the learning process. And that's not something that's going to happen quietly. So we do have fun and we do make some noise at times. But I do enjoy it, yes. It also
Wonderful.
allows flexibility, as I am a mother as well, as you would have mentioned and shared with our guests. And I have my children, and it allows the flexibility to be there for them and still being able to work. So it really works out well as a teacher and a parent to be the best mother and the best teacher that I can be.
You have been in the business for the profession actually for 11 years and more, right?
Yes.
And how would you like to evolve it?
As I said too, that when I came into teaching, there's no way I would have imagined that we would have been thrown into teaching online, especially for the younger children. We know that online teaching is a thing for tertiary education, but it's not something that I imagined in the primary school system. It is the way forward.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, by way of the pandemic, we were thrown into this. And technology is definitely the way forward. So in the evolution of the profession, like all other professions, there's so many things that have become obsolete that we thought we wouldn't have been able to do without. And technology has taken over. So likewise, in the teaching profession, we will see that evolution, and I'm hoping that it is embraced. Change is always met with some kind of pushback. There are some persons, including teachers in the profession, for whatever reason, as I said, there's always some kind of pushback that may not be okay with it, may not be comfortable with it. And we always have that with change. So I'm hoping that with the evolution that we can have the embracing of the technology in the classroom and outside of the classroom. You would really want that we are teaching not just to pass an exam or to send home a good report to parents. And we would want that children grow, learn, develop to be independent and independent thinkers, and being able to ask and answer the question why, not just how, because it is all fine and dandy to say, okay, we're teaching, we're learning, and this is how you do something. But when you can answer the question why, and you fully understand, I realize that we do lack as a society some level of understanding and comprehension, and we can see those lapses in everyday life. For some persons, we're seeing a lot of posts and complaints about the millennials coming up, where they're entitled and, you know, they do, well, I should say we, because I'm also millennial, but
thanks for reminding us. I'm in the States, right? And Flavors is in Jamaica. So one of the things that I find the government is doing, they're stressing more getting the kids back into the classroom, right? While teachers like yourself and other teachers, some teachers I've spoken to, there are some of them who are for online teaching. But there's a lot of parents who's totally against online teaching because let's put it in the realistic way. Some are not advanced educationally to help the child at home, so they would rather the child go back in the classroom. And from what the government is saying, they do much better in the classroom. While some teachers have, believe in the online teaching as well. So tell me, what is the pros and the cons of the online teaching?
Okay, so, well, before I answer that directly, what I would say is that there's no substitution for face-to-face. There will never be substitution for that interaction with the teacher and the student to help the learning process. So there is definitely no substitution for the classroom. What I would say, however, there definitely needs to be a blended approach, which is something that we have been doing since the pandemic, where we have smaller groups of children. So the students were not able to all come in the classroom at once. We had different days for different groups. And there was a blended approach where some of the instruction would have been, well, I can't say instruction would have been face-to-face, but there were activities and engagement online as well for the students to benefit while they were not in the classroom. So that, I believe, is part of the evolution. And that's definitely one of the pros of being able to have the online teaching platform. If there was no way of doing this back in, well, I'm not great in history, but when we would have had previous world pandemics, they didn't have this. I think that this is very much a blessing and a great advantage for our generation and in a time like this, because we literally we were not able to go outside. And here in Barbados, we were expecting to go back into the classroom, and we were there last term, which would have been the first or Michael's term in for 2020 going into 2021, that school year, academic year. And we were expecting to go back in this month, but we're still in the pandemic. We've been doing well here in Barbados, but it's been up and down. It's a fluid situation, as we've been told, and we are now back into our online Google Classrooms.
Yeah.
So had it not been provided for, we would be home. So that's definitely a plus for the technology and the advancements going forward that way. But as I said, there really is no substitution for the interaction in the classroom. So I would definitely say that the technology needs to be embraced, and I would love it to be embraced by both parents and teachers. Of course, we want the children in the classroom. I believe the teachers, contrary to what others may believe, we really do want to get back into the classroom. We really do. Most of us do. I can speak for my colleagues, my direct colleagues, immediate colleagues. We really wish we could be back in the classroom. But we will definitely and have been integrating the online classroom and the technology that we're allowed.
Yes, yeah, because now, in the pandemic, now I realize that parents now really appreciate teachers. Really appreciate teachers, especially when they see the bulk of work that they have to do as parents by helping out the students at home for the online teaching. So big up to you and all the teachers out there this morning, because you guys are really appreciated now. Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. I've had plenty of parents say that they really appreciate what we do. They now understand what we do. And it's not even to the extent that we do it, because the preparation is definitely totally different. It's not just looking at the work that the teacher sent and assisting the child to do it, but there is a lot of planning and preparation going into a curriculum, a plan, a lesson plan, a specific lesson plan, and all those things teachers have to handle, along with the assessment and the correction of all the work that's given.
Yeah,
so
man.
I would say there are a lot of parents who have been very appreciative, and they really appreciate and respect the profession a lot more. And I'm really glad to have that backing from parents as well, because you really need the parents on board when it comes to the education of the children.
Oh yes. So enough big ups. One of the things I see, there's a great disadvantage in the Caribbean when it comes to internet service. I say grave disadvantage because the whole Caribbean itself need to be wired in the rural area, from the rural area right back in the city. They usually do it from the city out into the rural area. So what about the rural children? They're at a disadvantage when it comes to online learning. And Flavius can attest to that, because he's in the rural area and he's online and his internet is really horrible. You understand me? So
that's it.
In the teaching profession, right, I wouldn't ask you for no statistics, because maybe you would know, but isn't the rural area at a disadvantage than those in the city or or in the urban areas?
I would not necessarily say that it is a demographic issue per se, because as far as I know, I would say that the entire island here in Barbados, we have the internet access. And we do have some areas, there's better coverage in some areas than others, yes.
Yes, that's what I should have asked you. Sorry, I should have asked you about how Barbados set up in the rural area when it comes to internet.
Yeah, we are pretty much covered. What would be the issue would more so be persons who may not be able to afford the service. Because there are always those less fortunate, and we're all in the education system. So some persons may not have been able to have the internet access.
Yeah.
Not because it is not accessible, but because of financial. And also persons may not have been able to afford the devices necessary to sign on to the classroom and participate in classes. we've had parents who, yes, they have their phones and they let their children use their phones, which is very commendable. But there are others who, as you say, would be at a disadvantage. However, I will say kudos to our government. They have been integral in supplying those students who don't have devices with devices, along with other charities. There have been charitable organizations who've been donating. They've been the layman in the community who decided, well, I'm going to donate a couple tablets here or there, a couple laptops here or there. We also have teachers as well, giving out of pocket to support the online learning. It really was something that we did not plan for so soon. And it was still considered a state of emergency. And we've had everyone on board. I do think that as here in Barbados, we really do appreciate what education means to us and what it has done for our society. And something that is very well supported.
Okay. That's good. That's good. Flavius, are you there?
Yeah, man, always.
Yeah, because
man, and Barbados has internet. I mean, a wide internet distribution for a very long time. Long time.
Unlike Jamaica,
long before COVID. I know of that long ago. Long time.
Yeah, that definitely would not have been one of our.
It's just about planning and tell. You know, is that they don't. The plan. And better. And more. You know.
That's what I'm saying to you, Deborah. Flavius is in the rural area of Jamaica, so
it's something that they've been doing for a long time. So they shouldn't be complaining about the COVID now and learning from home. They are not with that.
Yeah, they're way ahead of Jamaica. Anyway, Deborah, homeschooling, right? Homeschooling has been going on a long time, and I think it's a plus now for those who are still doing homeschooling. What is it like now? What percentage in Barbados do homeschooling? You have any idea?
I really don't know the percentage of persons doing the homeschooling. There are a few persons here or there who would do the homeschooling. I think too, because the education system here, we have free education, and I would back our system 100%. I am in the system as a teacher in a public school. It is accessible for most. Well, it's accessible for all. Some choose not to take advantage of that and pursue her homeschooling for whatever reason. But I would say the percentage is definitely very small.
Okay.
There's a number to it, but I'm sure it's very small.
Because I know in the States, there's a lot of homeschool teachers now who used to have like a small class, maybe their children and maybe one or two next door neighbors. And during the pandemic here, they have expanded their classroom size, not as big as as they want it to be, because they have a limit. So and they are. I know one homeschool teacher. She's definitely enjoying it, because she said the pandemic has opened up the eyes the educational system in my state, so that they can realize that homeschooling was really good. Because there are some people who are totally against it, while there are some who love it. And one of the reasons why I know some people don't like it, they're saying that the children don't get to interact with other children in their age group, because they're basically at home learning. What do you think about that?
Well, here in Barbados, I will say we did have quite a few private schools, private institutions popping up, where the numbers would definitely be a lot smaller. And when it comes to homeschooling, I mean, people have their reasons, and whatever works for their child, and whatever works for their family, I would say go for it. I do, as I said, there's nothing that I personally believe would substitute a classroom and being able to have that social interaction with the children as well, because we too need that social and emotional learning for children, not just ABC 1, 2, 3, spelling, grammar, science. The social and emotional development is integral, and I'm not saying that they can't get that at home. I'm not saying they can't get that in other extracurricular activities, because there are also clubs that they can take advantage of to get that growth and development for their children. So as I said, whatever works for the child, whatever works for the family, it's all fine and dandy when it comes to the development of that child.
Okay. Sounds good. You know, when I look at it, the pandemic, and I look at it, because like kindergarten children now, they're doing online. Most of them, from what I know, are doing online teaching, and they're saying that the pandemic, the virus don't affect children, which we know it's a lie. It do affect some children. Not all, but it do affect some children. For say kindergarten children now doing online, what are some of the things that you're hearing in Barbados? Are they coping with it? Is parents fed up that that they figure those little young ones should be back in the classroom? Because I don't know what's the youngest child you have,
Well, in our primary school, we have some of them go from 3, some of them go from 4. And for that age group, of course, as I said, the parents want their children back in school. I'm a parent. I was very disappointed. I really wanted my children back in school.
It's challenging,
Yeah, for children that age, I'm sure it's very challenging to have a child in front of a screen, talking to a screen, trying to interact with the screen. But what I have found is that teachers have been very innovative and finding some very creative ways to keep the children engaged. And of course, we would need the parents on board with that, where we would send a list of things needed for the online lesson. So, we share our lessons, and in our infant department, we would see they had a dress day once where we had the children send pictures and they were dressed as firemen, doctors. We had all the community workers represented, and it can be engaging for. I hear somebody laughing. It was pretty cool. You have the children for their health. They made a fruit salad, and all of those things can happen online, even though it's not in the classroom. But as I said, we will need the parents to assist with those things, especially for children that age. But we can't say it's not going to work. We have to work with what we have. And as I said, the technology really allows a lot more to happen. They won't have their friends next to them, but with parent support, it works. It's not going to be easy. It isn't easy, and everything is not practical, but we have been able to find ways to, keep the children at that age engaged.
I saw one documentary where teachers in this particular school somewhere up north, and they were teaching kindergarten students, and most of their learning process was they let the parents get tablets, and they would do mostly games interaction, so to make sure the child is engaged online. And that was really interesting, because children love games, and especially if they're at home, they want to play games because they figure they're not going to school, so their me time they want to utilize it with and play games, and that was how those teachers in that school were getting the children involved online by doing games interaction, but it has numbers and letters, and of course their participation was there. You see that as a plus?
Oh, definitely. I would say too for the older ones as well, they like that. And with games, there's competition. Most children have that innate rivalry, to do better than someone else. They have bragging rights, so they did better than the other person. Not to put them down, but that competition, that healthy competition, is always there. The teachers we talk, we interact, we share. They use quizzes and games for the same kind of interaction that you're speaking about, where there's learning through play for the younger ones, learning through games, even critical thinking with puzzles. You have online puzzles. There are a lot of different little things that you have access to online that we use for the engagement of the children that they still learn. And one thing I will say, definitely a huge positive coming out of this, before you would give a child a tablet, they play some random racing game or something that, they hand-eye coordination, okay, fine. But but now you can give that child a tablet, a laptop, a phone, different devices, and they can sign into an email address. They can navigate a Word document, a Google document, a spreadsheet. They've learned so much without even trying so hard. And they are now even more competent than some adults. As teachers, we've had to help the parents with this as well. Everyone is not that way inclined, which is fine. And it's a learning experience for the student, the parents, and us teachers, since we did have to undergo lots of training as well in preparation for the online instruction. So all of that is encompassed, and it is a great plus to have the learning through play, the games, and using the different devices and apps and programs for future development and benefit for us all in the wider society as they grow and go into the world to use what they have learned at school coming up, and when they go into jobs and entrepreneurship, all that stuff. Technology is going nowhere. It will be a continuous learning process.
Yes, it's going to be here with us forever and ever. I want to throw something in there because now that you're doing online teaching, parents, I'm going to bring the parents to me now. What's the interaction with parents and teachers now? Because you usually have that parents teacher day where like a given night in the school week, all the parents would come to the school and they would see how Johnny or Sonia is performing and talk to the teacher, but we're not doing that now. What are the interaction now with parents and teachers?
Okay, yes, we do have that parent-teacher meeting where the parents would come in and they would get a report on the child's progress, any issues to discuss. That can be facilitated online. We do now have an exchange of contact information, like much, not like before really, but because the parents pretty much have access to their teacher throughout the day. We would set our parameters. Some teachers allow parents to call or message on WhatsApp up until a certain time or certain days. Or some teachers decide, you have all access. Depending on the parent, I would say the parent-teacher relationship has drastically improved, where there's a lot more communication between the parent and between the parent and the teachers.
A better one-on-one with the parents.
Yes.
Okay.
Because we don't have to wait until there's a specific day or time and then to go through the principal or the office to set a meeting and you go.
True. Okay.
Yeah, so you can send a message, the teacher would decide, you would correspond, and you can pretty much have access to that communication line has been opened a whole lot more.
That's great. Because I, as a parent, well, I usually communicate with the teacher by phone, and since the online homeschooling, I wouldn't say I rarely, but I don't have that rapport no more as frequent as it used to be. But I do, keep in touch and find out what's going on. So it brings me to this question: the challenges facing the pandemic as a teacher. What are the challenges teachers face in the pandemic? And how best can they cope and solve some of the stuff them?
Okay. I would say that initially one of the challenges faced would have been the transition from the classroom into the online environment, because it meant setting up profiles for email addresses, profiles for each student in the school. And there was a lot of preparation to achieve that and to set the Google Classroom in place. I would say kudos to all of the ITCs, the information technology coordinators at the schools, who would have, been the ones to orchestrate that in such a short space of time. And that in itself called for lots of training for teachers. Even as someone who's familiar with technology, it's not that I was familiar with the Google Classroom. I had previously no use of the platform and I had no prior knowledge of it. So it was now getting to know the operation of the technology there, and including the entire Google suite. So yes, you share documents in Word or the Google Docs, but to actually think about having my children to navigate that document then and structuring the work that they can then manipulate that document is something totally different. So that for me was challenging, even though I'm okay with technology. So the preparation initially, that would have been a challenge. We also had challenges. Technology comes with its challenges. So we had challenges getting the parents online and the compatibility of some devices. And then outside of the technology, as I said, we always have some kind of pushback. And dealing with parents who think that the children should be back in school. I'm not saying my parents per se, but even in the wider society, there was a lot of pressure on teachers, and I don't think that person's understood what really went into this process. I would also say kudos to our government. They've been offering support. They have group counseling sessions to support any teachers under stress, not discounting how hard it would be for other persons. Everyone is facing their challenges, but we have been able to get the support of our government regardless. So the challenges with the transition, they were there. Challenges with getting parents online and understanding everything as well, things that we have just learned. It was a very fast learning curve, and we really did have to adjust and adapt very quickly, and it's easier for some than others.
Let me ask you this question. This question is for you. How are you coping as a teacher mentally?
I cope at the beach. That is my place where I wind down, where I relax, where I get grounded.
Yeah.
That keeps me sane. I guess everyone has their out, and everyone should have their out where they can relax and wind down and get centered again.
Yeah.
Regardless of the profession. But that's what I do personally. The water is therapeutic for me. And it's also a matter of planning and time management.
Okay.
As I mentioned, I'm also a mother, so I have to factor in my children. So a time schedule, that has been hard to keep.
So you're throwing a lot of baking in it too as well?
Because they had a bedtime, so I'm not sure that went.
Okay. You're throwing some baking and cooking as well?
Oh yeah, for sure. I am happy in the kitchen.
Oh,
baking,
wow.
cooking.
So you must be a good cook then if you're happy when you're in the kitchen, because that's how the food come out good, when you're happy in the kitchen.
Yes, you gotta put in the TLC, you're cooking with love.
Yeah, the food comes out much, much better when you're happy.
It's much better when you add a little love and happiness and the music.
Yeah.
So kitchen is also my happy place.
Yeah,
I like to eat, I like to cook.
Sorry to interrupt you there, Debbie. Sorry to interrupt you. Deborah, sorry to interrupt you. What are you saying, Flavius?
No, I was just saying that she owns a bakery.
Oh, you do? You own a bakery as well?
When I grew up, my dad had a bakery.
Okay.
And I've been baking before I could reach the table on a bar stool.
Okay.
So I pretty much have continued. I don't own a physical bakery, but I do bake and I do sell.
You bake for the community? You bake for the community?
My neighbors, friends, family. Yeah.
So you bake those rum cake too? Those Barbados rum cake?
The rum cake?
Yeah.
I have, but I don't often. I
Not
mostly
often?
bake sweet bread, coconut bread.
Oh, coconut bread too? Wow.
Yeah.
That is fantastic, I can tell you.
Yeah. Well, I'll be checking out you when I get to Barbados, so I can get some of that coconut bread.
I look forward to it. I'm sure you'll say it's the best.
I never know. Flavius, thanks for telling me that she do baking as well. I never know that. So your dad used to have a bakery, right?
Yeah.
And you do patties as well? Those patties, beef patties.
I've done the beef. I've done the jam puffs, and coconut slices, all those things.
We gotta find you when I get there, man.
Flour.
Yeah. Okay.
Exotic stuff.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good. Yeah,
Deborah,
Yes,
I have a question for you.
I'm listening.
I have a question for you. Yeah, do you think that this whole online learning now, we're learning from home or whatever, that it is a good early preparation in the development of the child as it relates to going to university? Because when you're in high school, you have your teachers, but when you go to university, you're a lot on your own, And people usually say that is a big divide, it's a big bridge to cross for a lot of students moving from high school to university, because there's no teachers as it was in high school. You have lecturers and all that, but it is a lot different. So do you think that this early situation where the students have to take control of their own learning because they're at home by themselves, online, if that is a good preparation for them for higher education?
Yeah, for sure. I think I mentioned that it is very much an assisting with the preparation for their independence. And that's exactly what we need, children who can be independent in their thinking, who can operate, they don't need that. Yes, there's guidance, but they don't need that direct assistance where they can function on their own. And they can, as I say, take a laptop, a tablet, a phone, and whatever other devices they are in future. And they can navigate that device, they can manipulate that device and the programs, not just a message or play a game, but to do their online studies, their assignments, all that good stuff that is necessary for their university and tertiary education. So it's definitely a head start. It's advantageous to them. For many of us growing up, we didn't have the internet, we didn't have the laptop, tablet, computers. We suffered through dial-up connections, and there was the big desktop, and we didn't have the accessibility that they did, and we didn't have that practice. I remember going through some courses in secondary school leading up to the B.Sc, and you know how to learn bits and bytes and all the different little things, how to use the computer. It comes so naturally to them because everybody got a tablet for Christmas and they can manipulate that device. Now we need it for our online teaching and learning. And those that were not able to afford a device, they're able to have access to the device through the provision of the government, and they can take that and use it in future.
That answer your question, Flavius?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Very much so. Thank you.
The thing that I have one question for you. One more question. All right. If you are given say you're given one wish, right, in the pandemic, one wish, and it must be something pertaining to teaching, what would you wish for? You're given one wish. I'm the genie. I give you one wish. What would you wish for?
Okay, so wait. I need a little bit more time on this. I'm not answering with the question, but I'm asking a question.
Okay.
Can we make Corona go away? Can we make this whole thing go away?
Oh yeah.
That would be my wish.
Oh yeah. I say I'm the genie, so I would be able to grant you that.
Well, if that is okay, please. Can you make Corona go away?
I would be able to grant you that. Yeah, I would make Corona go away. All right.
That way, we can go back into the classroom, all of us, all teachers, all students, every day, all day.
Well, I know students who are preparing like last year and now this year again preparing for graduation, and they would usually have their prom and other, what you call it, 12th grade banquet, parties, whatever. They can't do that. So, they are totally in distress.
It's very disappointing.
Yeah.
That's something you definitely look forward to after putting in so many years, so much hard work. You definitely want a graduation, you want a after party, you want a banquet, whatever else. But it is what it is for right now.
I know.
Yeah.
I know I have it here with me at home. My son is about to graduate this year, so he's upset. Last year he said, I hope that next year when it reach my time, all of this is gone. And I said, yeah, let's hope and pray for that one.
Yeah, it's definitely something you'd want to celebrate with your friends and those who you've been going through it with.
Yeah.
So they've been robbed of that.
Yeah, they have been robbed.
That accomplishment.
So what do you tell them? How do you talk to these students who are, preparing to graduate and, a big distress because, they can't get to party and they can't have the prom, graduation, and graduation, get together. What would you say to them?
Well, I usually handle the infants, so graduation is the furthest thing from their mind. The older teachers, I should say the teachers dealing with the older students preparing for graduation, I will be honest and say I did not have that discussion with them. And I wasn't even able to be present at the last graduation. I would have had to watch online. We were able to get some of our students, well, not some, the graduating class was there, and their parents obviously doing their social distancing, etc. But not as many guests, not all of the teaching compliments. So they were still able to get a graduation, but not the usual fanfare. I do think, though, that children are a lot more resilient than most adults.
Yeah.
Yes, they would be a little disappointed. They get over it. They really do, to be honest.
Oh, yeah. They're going to get over it. They have to. They have to because, mentally you want them to have that, mental firmness, and you have to find ways, as both as teachers and parents, to help them, to get over it.
Yeah, and the truth is they are very much accustomed to the online environment. They're always online, speaking with each other. They're very much accustomed to that kind of relationship.
They live online. They live online.
Exactly. And they would prefer to text message than to even call. So the face-to-face, I don't think some of them really miss it. They're really, really late to be online.
One of the best graduation party I saw last year was in a stadium. Yes, that one. Yeah, it was inside a stadium where they have the cars driving the students, and they would come out and pick up their diplomas and this.
I saw that.
Oh, that was
very, very creative.
Yes.
That's lovely. Yes.
I think they should encourage that. To give them a stadium graduation. Stuff like that. It was good. It was good.
That was a grand day there.
So if you should do it all over, say, would you come, how should I put the question now? Would you change your profession for any other profession?
If I were to do it all over again, no. Teaching really has molded me into who I am, and I would never discredit that. It has allowed me to spend the time with my children. I have learned so much as a teacher.
Yeah.
About the profession, there are a lot of things that I did not understand growing up in the classroom that I only learned as a teacher, and I was better able to transfer that and translate that to my students. And I would say it has definitely benefited me as a person. I'm actually interested in marketing as well. And I'm not saying that I would abandon the teaching profession.
Yeah.
It allows the flexibility to, be able to engage in other pursuits and other passions. And the satisfaction that you get from teaching, I don't think that anyone else can feel it and express it but a teacher. To see a student go from A to B or from B to C, to see a student progress, and it is more satisfying to know that you were a part of that development. And I don't think that I would ever want to take that away from myself. I would definitely do it all over again.
I understand your feeling. I once did a little, did some teaching myself, and I really truly wanted to become a teacher when I saw this movie, To Serve with Love with Sidney Poitier, and it's like I want to live it. I did get some teaching under my belt, and I didn't continue. I should have. So sometimes I hear teachers talk, I kind of put myself in that a little bit, and then I have to snap out of it because I
But
think.
you can tell that it has obviously impacted you.
Oh yes, because nothing comfort me like when I have delinquent students. I love delinquent students because I think that's a challenge when you can change them from crayon to perfume, as it said in the movie, To Serve with Love, and it's a good feeling, especially when you see, that child, turn out to be something, a person really valuable, not only to himself and his family, but to society. I love that. I love that. So Flavius, before we let Deborah go, do you have anything else to say to her or ask her?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Just a little thing about teachers and trainers. How do you differentiate that? Because I wouldn't say that I was a teacher, but I have been a trainer, from time to time in one of the fields that I do. I have to do training. Are they the same thing, teachers and trainers?
People use different jargon. I believe they're the same thing. Because when it comes to the execution of what you're doing, you basically have your plan and you share that information with your student, and your training, your teaching. Whether you won't say that you have a football teacher, you would say a football coach or a trainer.
Yeah.
In the gym, you won't say you have a gym teacher. You would say a trainer. So I just think it's depending on the field, the jargon that you would use. So teacher, trainer, coach, I personally think they're the same thing in essence.
Same results.
Pardon?
No, the same result. You have
the same result.
Impart to the student. Yes. Just wanted to make sure, because I have done quite a lot of training, in the IT section, and also in football and other things too. But I don't normally look at myself as a teacher,
I would say that's teaching.
Well,
okay,
that's teaching. That's teaching because you're still imparting, information onto that person. So you're teaching them,
sharing knowledge, teaching a skill.
But although I'm trained in whatever I am training, I am not trained in teaching. I'm not a trained teacher, but I've done a lot of training, which would be a lot of teaching over time.
You are trained in teaching? You said you're not.
No, I'm not. I'm trained in IT, and I work in that field at one point in time, and I have to train. I do a lot of training in that. You have to sometimes you install a system and you have to train your customers to use it. That type of training, and sometimes you have to train junior staff to bring them up. So there's a lot of training.
I'm glad that you said that. It's something that I have been giving some thought to in preparation for today. And also something that I do reflect upon. You would hear a lot of people say that experience is the greatest teacher. And teaching, well, I would say a teacher is someone who has been taught. You cannot teach unless you have already learned and understand. And if you are teaching, you don't have to be a trained teacher. I'm not talking about our system. I'm talking about in general. If you are teaching, you have to understand what you are teaching.
Oh, yes. I agree with you 100%.
A teacher is one who is always learning. And you learn, you understand, and you're able to answer the question why, not just how. So you can teach your staff to use the system. You show them how, but I'm sure you let them understand why things are done the way they're done. And that translation is not necessarily because you're a trained teacher, but you've been taught, you learn, you have that experience, and you continue to learn, and you're able to then teach.
Okay.
Yes, exactly. And then you have to prepare them so they can teach others.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You have any plans of becoming a principal?
Nope, that is not on my to-do list.
Really? Why not?
No. I do prefer the classroom.
I think you'd be a good principal. You know, I think you could be a good principal. You administer everything. I think you'd be a good one.
Sound very organized.
Yeah.
Sound very organized. Yes.
I think you'd be a good principal.
Sure that I would be as well. I think I would make the principal, but it's not on my to-do list.
Really?
It's not one of my list of accomplishments.
You know, not even. What if you should try it out for a day or a week?
A week.
Yeah. Say they put you to say try this out for a week.
I'm not sure if my principal is listening, but Mom, if you're listening, I won't continue that sentence, but maybe we can work on something. But I do prefer the classroom and the interaction with, especially the little ones that are in my care.
Okay.
So the administration, I can do without that. Yeah.
I see. But you know, sometimes you can, like I remember a teacher looked at me once and said, you know, she can judge her students by, you know, not by their appearance alone, but by, you know, the way they talk and the way they present themselves and their assignment. And she would, you know, encourage some of us to, you know, try, you know, to pursue other careers, you know, like some guys would say they want to be a police. You say, yeah, you could be a good policeman, but maybe you would be a better engineer, you know, and things like that. So you do get that sometime. I don't know if anyone has ever mentioned it to you. Have you ever, you know, anyone ever mentioned it? Say, hey, Deborah, you should look into becoming a principal.
Of my own school, sure.
Huh?
Of my own school, sure.
I hear you. Well, we thank you.
We'll see what happens. We have our plans, and then
you never know what's in store for you. Yeah, you don't. You know the destiny. You know, we don't know the destiny.
Keep your eyes open for the opportunities, and you never know where life takes you. You never know. My mind might change.
True. Something to think about. Put that on your list. Yeah. Things that make you say,
I'll just remain open to all opportunities, but not putting that on the list.
All right. So Flavius.
Yes.
Deborah, we thank you for taking time out. You have class today, right?
We actually begin our online sessions from Monday. I did go in today to meet with some of the parents regarding a few things before we could get started.
Okay.
But, we start the online sessions from Monday. We had a bit of a delay in our start here due to, it's the pandemic.
Before you go, Deborah, how is Barbados, generally?
You mean the environment in the pandemic? This is away from teaching or what?
Yeah, this is just Barbados itself. Barbados is one of my favorite places. I used to come there very often.
Okay, so
for a number of years.
I did
generally,
tell you that.
What the feel of the people? What the feel of the people now? With the pandemic and all of that, and the lockdowns and all these different new things happening.
Okay, well, for the past couple weeks, literally 2 weeks, we've been under curfew. We have a 9 p.m. curfew, 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. We're to be home. Outside of that, only the essential workers. as we had a couple of clusters with the spreading of the virus. We're waiting now until the 14th for updates, which is Thursday. Yes, which is Wednesday, tomorrow. Right, yeah, tomorrow. For any updates, we've been following the situation closely. So we're hoping for the best. All events have been closed off. Nothing can happen until we get this cleared up. As I said, we were expecting to be back into the classroom, but then we had this little bit of a flare up. And I suspect it will happen from time to time. But generally, things have been, we have a new normal. We've accepted the new normal. The wearing of the mask, the sanitizing, taking of temperatures. But for the most part, we have been very free to do mostly what we normally do. Things have slowed down, but you can still go to the beach, you can still go to the supermarket, you can still go to the church. Now that we have our the little curfew that we have, but things have been limited. But I believe that shortly we'll be able to go back to that. There are no significant. It's not a lockdown, just a curfew.
Okay. So, Deborah, thank you very much for taking time out of your schedule today and for being here with us. We ask that you come back again.
You're most welcome. The pleasure was definitely mine. I definitely enjoyed it. I wouldn't mind coming back at all.
Oh, thank you.
Wonderful.
We thank
You
all.
will come back. We will invite you back. We'll get you back. Please.
Thank you.
Now we thank all of your friends who have been participating in the chat room. We thank them for being here as well. You bring a big crowd.
And Deborah, you could ask them to subscribe, please.
Okay, will do, guys. Thank you so much for your support. I feel so loved.
You bring a big crowd with you today, and that make me love you more now. So we're bringing you back. We're inviting us to come back again.
So first thing you have to do, Deborah, is that we're asking you to subscribe, and then you ask all of your friends to subscribe, because subscription helps us, help the podcast grow. You know, the more subscriptions we have, the more things that we can do. You know, and we're going to start.
I'm sorry, but I definitely will click that subscribe button. I did get a chance to watch some of the previous podcasts, and they're very interesting. It is the real stuff. So I will definitely
thank you for that.
Stay tuned.
Thank you for that.
And I want to publicly thank you for an idea you gave us yesterday.
Yes, yes.
Okay, brilliant.
You can thank me and thank those who are still tuned in, because as I told you, it was based on feedback from my friends and family.
Brilliant.
Wonderful.
Thank you for that. Okay.
As you can see, we react immediately.
Yes, definitely.
If it is good, we move immediately. We don't wait. We don't have to deliberate.
Yeah.
As long as we find it appropriate and good, we just do it.
Mm-hmm. And it was wonderful. It was wonderful for that feedback from you.
Oh yes, and it was well wanted. I can say.
Well, we can talk a little bit more about that when it comes to the marketing as well.
Yeah, that's great. Okay. That's great. I just remember you said you have that marketing mind as well. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Well, in fact, when you have some time, like right after a show, you could call us and we can discuss it.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Because that time you're sure to get both of us together, and then we can discuss it. And we thank you very much.
So,
thank you too. You're welcome.
Stay safe, keep the family together, and have fun, and continue, doing what you do best in the classroom.
Thank you so much.
All right. Have a wonderful day.
Okay.
One love.
You as well.
All right.
Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Yes, so listeners, viewers, That was Miss Deborah Walrond. And we thank her very much for being here with us this morning. So Flavius, it's time for us to get out of here.
I met a boy the other day, got the sweetest loving ever come my way. Do anything I say, when he loves me this way. The only thing I say is, oh mama, mama, keep on loving me, Sabagoya. Oh mama, mama, keep on loving me, Sabagoya. You got Bagwaya in it, so wonderful. You got Bagwaya in it, so wonderful. Bagwaya is so wonderful. All I can say is, oh mama, mama, keep on loving me, Bagwaya. Oh mama, mama, keep on loving me, Bagwaya. Hit me with it, tone, did it on a break. Man, you better run, come.
Yes, Flavius, it's time for us to go.
Cause I need a fix. I feel it. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Ooh, Miss Abagoya. Oh, mama. Ooh, Miss Abagoya. Oh, mama. Ooh, Miss Abagoya. Oh, mama. Ooh, Miss Abagoya. He got Bagwaya in it, so wonderful. Mr. Bagwaya in it, so wonderful. He got Bagwaya, so wonderful.
Okay. Flavors, who we have tomorrow?
Oh, tomorrow is what? Thursday, cook and curry. We have Miss Palm All on juices, creating juices for you, showing you how to create your own juices at home, so you can eat healthier, you know.
And then in the poetry corner we have James from
James,
from Belize. He's going to do some poetry for us
from
tomorrow.
Garafuna Nation. Yes, and he's pumped, man. He probably just sent me a message, you know. That he all pumped and ready to go tomorrow, man.
Well, he's lined up and ready to go, fired up and ready to go. All right.
Yes. Oh yeah.
So, as I said, like, share, and subscribe. All of you who haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe before you get out of the chat room. Please subscribe before you get out of the chat room. And take care of yourself, your loved ones, and be safe. Remember, prayer changes things, regardless what religion you belong to. Keep on praying. All right? And this is Franco.
And this is Flavius.
Wishing you a pleasant morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time zone you're in.
Wherever you are.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, see you tomorrow. Queen Lubafu to take us out.
And then Tafina.
And then Tafina.
You lead us so full. You belong far away away. Ajuguala lebo buseru. Lida mua, lida sungfula. Lida mua, lida sungfula.
Well, unfortunately, this is it. Till next time. Bless.
All you gotta do is just speak. One word is enough, and I'm no longer so rough. I forget what I was trying to say. I no longer do what I was gonna do, but you're no good for me. That's why me know I said me have to go flee. Me have to take away myself. Me have to take away myself. Me have to hide like a thief in the night. Me have to get out of sight. Me have to take away myself. I have to take away myself. I have to utilize my wings. Surely I leave where I is. I said, yeah, I find you very hard to resist. But this relationship I'm gonna desist. But how can I face you when all I wanna do is just taste you? I know you think I play me, I play. But soon you're gonna see the light of day.
Well, unfortunately, this is it. Till next time. Bless.
Be gone in a pinch. May I feel take away myself. May I